Welcome to Compass Affordable Housing. I'm Tony Sims, CEO of Compass. I want to talk to you about how CAH, or CAH, is creating safe places for human development in our city. To do this, I'm going to utilize this PowerPoint we're working on as our long-term strategic thinking process. And so hopefully by going slide by slide, it'll provide you and I the opportunity to discuss ideas in short bites of information. So I'm going to go through this one slide at a time. When you look at this, our focus at Compass is all about live, learn, love, and grow. We want to build better stability, build better lives, build stronger families, and build affordable housing. And what that means to us is that we're building a better tomorrow by creating safe places for human development. And so in doing so, we're addressing a specific problem here in southern Arizona, which is Pima County, of human development stagnation or regression, which is causing homelessness in our county. And so our definition of the problem is Pima County has high prevalence of risk factors, which are indicators of a root issue that is causing an increased rate of residents to fall into homelessness. These risk factors are both causes of human development stagnation or regression, which is the root issue here, and symptoms associated with outcomes such as poverty, unemployment, mental health issues, substance use disorder, lack of affordable housing, and the list goes on. And so when we look at our numbers, we look and see for human development stagnation or regression in homelessness, you can see from 2007, where we had roughly about 3,201 folks experiencing homelessness. And that number began to be driven down all the way until about 2020. And then the pandemic hit, and you can see our numbers shot right back up. The more concerning thing here is look at the sheltered persons number versus the unsheltered persons number. From 2007, you can see, roughly about 19 or 2,000 folks were in shelter, but we had about 1,901 people who weren't in shelter. That unsheltered number was driven down significantly all the way until about 2020 or 2019. And then you see it explode back up. And so on average, we did take out year 2021 because of COVID. We couldn't get clean numbers then, but you can see on average, it's a pretty high rate of folks who are experiencing unsheltered poverty or homelessness. So one of the things I really want to make sure we focus on in our city and at Compass Affordable Housing is not simply the end result of poverty and homelessness, but we want to look back upstream at biological risk factors, social risk factors, economic risk factors, environmental risk factors. And those things are hitting kids really early in the process. And those things can lead to additional risk factors such as mental illness, substance use disorder, lack of affordable housing, unemployment, lack of social capital, which begins to manifest itself in adolescence, young and middle adulthood, and late adulthood. So we're looking at risk factors, and I'm going to end with these last two slides, but we're looking at risk factors, those ones we just enumerated or enunciated in terms of biological risk factors being disease, infections, mutated genes, dietary deficiencies, mental illness, substance use disorder, and so social risk factors being low education, low social capital, social isolation, substance use, economic risk factors being poverty, lack of income, unemployment, interest rates, inflation, debt, and then environmental risk factors being infectious diseases, pollution, temperatures and climate, water and sanitation, toxic substances, and it goes on. So those things begin to impact the people in our city, and then all of a sudden we start seeing substance use disorder, unemployment, lack of affordable housing, lack of social capital, mental illness. And as you go back to this other slide, you can see the progression where in childhood those things begin to impact, and in some of the kids who are being negatively impacted by these end up experiencing those later life things such as poverty and homelessness. I'm going to end there. That gives us kind of a snapshot of what Compass Affordable Housing is doing. And